RORA roster, I was like, this team is going to show up on M Series and make a blast, and I can't wait to see them get into the thick of it.
Who said there are no shortcuts in life? I literally invented one.
Tournament goes on as a series goes on, but this is a best of one. And Falcon, this Falcon squad has played together for a considerable amount of time, longer compared to RORA. And they have done their homework. They're respecting the Eve on the hands of Yue, and they're respecting the Hitman, the Matilda, the Human, and of course his signature Cho for Renegade.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play, right? We know how aggressive Renegade can be. We know what he can bring to the table, especially on the Matilda. We saw it back in M5 when he was on Blacklist, and even though they didn't win it all, he played amazingly on it. On the other hand, master the basics, making sure that they ban out this chip, ban out this Fanny, keeping things pretty simple overall, but look what's open. That's going to be Jushin open, first pick for Falcon if they want it.
Alright, Jushin would be great, and they go ahead and pick it up, taking it away from the hands of Yue. First two picks for RORA, what looks good here?
What looks good? I feel like for RORA, there's always the... I was thinking of EB, forgot I think Valentina. I mean, you always the Khalid, Gatot, a lot of flex picks open for RORA.
I like the Valentina.
And the Valentina, yeah. I think the Valentina would be a very
Yue Valentina is a classic.
Yeah,
Cold classic right there. Cold classic. Paired up with like the Suyo or anything. A nice EXP laner. Hylo's still open as well. Lots of possibilities there.
And remember, they can be very flexible for Demon Kite. If it's not European fighters, it can also be assassins. Yeah, they go ahead for the Suyo, and instead of the Valentina, they go ahead and pick up the Gatot Kacha for Renegade, again becoming a staple roam pick in the rest of the world and in the Philippines. While Falcon, they go for a power pick first three with Hylos and Bruno.
Now they're in a tight spot, right? Because they either lock in their mid and they get like the Valentina, or they lock in a gold now to deal with the Bruno, but if they don't pick, I mean, no matter what, they can't pick one of them, which means Falcon starts banning out some of those power plays here. And because, you know, the drafts aren't identical, like mirrored in a sense of laneage, it just kind of switches things up here. RORA, what do you think? Do we think mid or do we think gold right here? Or maybe even...
I just want reach.
Oh, yeah.
Reach. Oh, there's some reach.
A little bit.
There's some reach, some anti-dive also. I mean, like, you look at Falcon's first three picks, sort of already covers most of the bases, right? You have a good front line, good peel, good sustain, great range with both Jushin and Bruno. You kind of keep most heroes at an arm's length, not to mention again the Malefic Gun, which has been a hot topic today for Bruno. So either way, Falcons have this solid foundation already with the first three picks.
For the gold laners here, Trex, there's two that I'm looking at for the hands of Domeng. It is either the Beatrix, again, we dub him as the next standard, as of course, as a little shout out to Kelra as well, and how Domeng plays. But at the same time, he's actually proven to be a very reliable Clint player.
Oh yeah?
I think I've seen that. And Clint has had this weird place where, especially with a team that knows how to play the box like Aurora, is able to kind of hold around. A Clint can just sit there and play safe, be protected by his team, and we already see the Suyo, we see the Gatot, we see an Aurora who can kind of stiff arm very well. It could definitely work here.
There's one thing that Falcon needs to consider banning, and it's... Oh, okay, they banned the Beatrix. They also have to take away the Edith of Edward. That has risen to be his most iconic pick, especially in the last season of MPL Philippines.
Yeah, depending on where this Hylos goes as well, I think Edith overall is a very safe pick for the XP lane. I feel like Falcons might not focus on that too much. At least I don't see the need just yet. The Joy ban from RORA, again, trying to stop Dax. There's still Nolan, Hayabusa, Ling. Probably not Ling, but Nolan, Hayabusa still up in the pool for the Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, Alpha also still open for Falcon if they just want to go something fight. Oh, Alpha's banned out?
By RORA.
By Aurora, never mind. Correction, my bad. On the side of Falcon, though, I don't know if you ban out the Edith. I don't know if you ban out the EXP, because the thing is Edward's pool is deep enough that it's like...
Might be too tough.
You know, it's like why do you even just let him have the Edith, because he's going to pick up something else and still play amazing on it, right? And that's the thing about a best of one, is you can't really adapt, right? It's not like we come into game two, okay, yes, that hero was too much, we need to ban it out now. You kind of just have to ban what you ban, but they do. There it is. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, you got to respect it. So up next on the docket with the Phoveus gone as well. Huh. Now, well, I mean, they can still go Khalid. Khalid Gato together. It provides a space that we mentioned, and if ever they go for the protect the marksman style of lineup, it would be okay.
So Domain Moskov comes out. There's also the tank Benedetta that we saw. Like Edward can play that hero.
Oh, yes.
First time Moskov today.
First time Moskov, yeah. We've seen the Tamus also. It was picked in the wild card, I believe, once.
So at this point, Falcon needing to wrap up their draft. They still need a jungler. They still need a EXP laner or roamer. Can definitely flex either way here. For jungle, you mentioned some assassin picks. Ling, Hayabusa. The Joy's gone, but it's definitely down. The Bane! And a Hilda.
Yeah, got let through.
Great pickup. The aggression that Falcon is showing, the team fighting, they want to control Aurora in multiple aspects, whether it's in the center of the map or in the team fight itself. The Aurora need to time their entries here. I think another frontliner is warranted. It cannot just be the Gatot.
The Tigreal. I mean, there is still the Renegade Tigreal. It is open.
Oh, that's true.
You could put Edward on the Gatot.
Okay, this might not be an Edward pick. There might actually be a Renegade pick that they're picking last.
Definitely a possibility. Overall, Falcon, I mean, you want to try to do something that can stop the forward pressing of Falcon here with the Hilda, with the Bane. At this point, they have a very, get in your face and just keep pressing in. And they are going to wrap it up with the Gwyn. Here's the question. Is it Roam? It is going over to Renegade. Roam, Gwyn. Now, we saw this a little bit in NACT. Shark actually picked this up, and it worked well. It was a nice cheese pick. Do you think it'll work well here?
I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah, good amount of control, good amount of combo. Let's see, this might be a much closer battle than we expected. Here's Miracle Brigada.
Thank you so much, panelists. I feel like in as early as the draft, it was already a very close fight which happened between two of these teams. It was a surprising pick on the Jushin, but the response showed to us by Aurora for their last pick. And Guinevere debuting on the first day of the M6.
That's new. So we get confirmation here. It is going to be Renegade on this Guinevere. We'll see how he's going to make this work. This is a pick that we've never seen before in M6. So it's another debut pick. We've just been rolling.
Yep.
The volatility of the drafts. Here it is.
Yep. Honestly, I want to throw all of my expectations out the window after all that has happened today. But how bright will the Northern Lights shine for tonight? They're going up against the Burmese Falcons. And we're down to the last 3 series for the first round of the Swiss stage. Let's see what happens between Aurora MLBB and Falcon Esports.
We're going to get straight into this jungle matchup. The Bane is something we actually haven't seen as well. I think we saw a lot of it in our playoffs, but unfortunately in M6, wildcard, and the last 4 matches, we haven't been able to actually see the Bane a lot. So Dax, it's already something new here from Falcon Esports. Benny on the Bruno, though, that's a signature pick. That's what he used in the Myanmar qualifiers, actually, to get through and to beat Mythic Seal. So I'm already expecting Benny to do wonders.
Yeah, and that's honestly the playstyle for Falcons Esports, right? They usually really want to funnel everything onto Benny, and this is a Bruno, so it's all the more reason for you to want to do that. But I'm really curious as to how Renegade will make use of this Guinevere. Like, what would be the ideal targeting? How particular could they be with the usage of this Guinevere? Is it really a pick-off-centric approach that they want to use? Oh, that's a Blade Surge. It connects onto Kid X.
The spatial migration, that's a flicker from Yue. Unfortunately, unable to get the stun, but the damage is enough. Renegade picks up first blood for Aurora.
Oh, that's some early game presence Aurora MLBB is trying to show us here. Not even bothered by the presence of a Jushin trying to control the mid lane. Even the Hilda, I don't feel that Aurora MLBB is threatened by the presence of these early game heroes from Falcons Esports just yet. They're working really well together, and we're seeing a 4-man rotation as early as less than 2 minutes into this game.
Yeah. Aurora doing Aurora things, This is how they like to play the game. Renegade actually going to be sent down below to soak in the wave, I believe. All right, that's an interesting one. Edward already level 4, clearing out the mid lane together with Yue as Royal Milk tries to poke him down, but I agree with you. It's not that much pressure that Hilda can assert right now, but Dax is on the turtle.
Yep.
No responses yet. Humankind can be pressured down by Royal Milk. Oh, the Wilderness, power of the Wilderness as well as the Deadly Catch finds him. Dax has fed him into the sharks, and the turtle will go to a spatial migration with the Violent Requiem. Renegade going to be caught now. Juicin picking him up. Renegade low, taken out again. Dax still surviving as Kidex zones you away. That's the PO from the Crimson Beacon. That's another Lantern Flare, and Edward is down. Falcon Esports starts off strong.
And I'm not entirely sure if it was the best decision to proceed with that turtle contest, knowing that Demon Kite was poked really low. We were talking about how Royal Milk and his presence wasn't really felt in the first few minutes of the game, but he just made a statement with how he was able to poke Demon Kite really low, and PX7 was ready to do the follow-up. He dealt enough damage as well, and Aurora MLBB were unsuccessful in taking that turtle.
Now it gets eerie. Now it gets real eerie, Brigida. We've been saying, you know, there's been a lot of upsets, but it should change. You know, Aurora, we've been hearing the rumors. Sounds like they're a different team, but so far, you know, the early game has gone to Falcon Esports, and man, that was impressive stuff. They literally just played it so well. Dax forced him into that pit, got into the deadly catch. Demon Kite goes in for the stun. The damage, Frigid Glacier, the combo. Demon Kite shoots the arrow down, and PX7 gets caught in the mid lane.
All right. So gradually, they're taking steps towards regaining control of this game. Renegade, though, forces out the Purify from Benny. So now they're rotating towards the top lane. And honestly, I really agree with what you previously mentioned. If it's Aurora MLBB, you know that they're a team who really comes into every single game prepared. And I think that's the difference for day number one. For day number one, at least, you know who you're going up against. Because you can't say the same for the next coming days here in the Swiss stage. Like, at least for today, they know that Falcon Esports, they're a team who really wants to rely on team fights. And maybe that's why they prepared this much damage.
Great combo, amazing combo. Finding the kill onto Dax. He's taken down now. There's nothing Falcon Esports can do right now.
There's been great layering from Aurora MLBB. Whoa!
Spatial migration from Renegade. And it's instantly comboed with the Frigid Glacier. Now Royal Milk trying to run away, gets stunned up again. The glorious pathway to get him out. The two tanky members of Falcon Esports will be able to escape, actually going back into the fight. But it's not enough to even get Edward low.
You know, I honestly forgot that there was a thing. There was a spatial migration flicker combo that existed, and Renegade reminded us of that. He's actually been playing a really great early game in terms of applying the pressure against Falcon Esports and finding the targets, if not even finding the full pickoffs, forcing out some really important resources such as the Purify from Benny. So in as much as we wanted to see Falcon Esports really funnel everything into their gold laner, that doesn't seem to be the case right now. They're yet to get any conversions or anything out of the first few rotations.
Sky Piercer now already for PX7. That's a first item, Sky Piercer.
For the Jushin?
Yeah, usually we see it as a second item, first item. Oh, Renegade. Oh, Spatial migration forward. Very close to the Lantern Flare. Crimson Beacon forward on a Purify 2 as Edward peels for him. Renegade gets out. The Glorious Pathway was already baited down, and Falcon Esports won't be able to get a kill despite using 2 battle spells there.
Yep. So there are some attempts still from Aurora MLBB to try and look for the plays, but at this point probably they really want to go for the macro overall, the PX7.
Yeah, really good poke.
Okay. Alright. They want to go for the turrets at this point, but how could you do that? Look at where Royal Milk is actually. He already cleared out the waves from the topmost portion of Aurora MLBB, and he also finds Demon Kite in the mid lane. So we're seeing some really interesting rotations here from both Falcon Esports and Aurora MLBB.
Yep, good damage, Renegade. The Bush not gonna go for the spatial migration, knows that Aurora, the rest of them, wants to just recall. And now it becomes a game of chess, really. How do you set up for the next neutral objective? It's all about setup here. Aurora have ways when they click, when they pull the trigger, it is an all-in, by the way, right? It's a combo that they need to commit to. So for Falcon Esports, it's all about how they can disengage from that combo, if they can.
Yeah, and I'm honestly wondering about where actually is the global presence just yet? Like, where's the macro control from Aurora MLBB? Because Falcon Esports, they seem to be looking for the ways to deal with that, but now that as soon as I bring it up, Domeng responds with a tier 1 turret into the hands of Aurora MLBB, but Demon Kite though, Royal Milk, here he goes again, trying to pressure the jungler of Aurora MLBB.
Well played to Falcon Esports, staying decisive, knowing that Domeng wants to go into the weak side to play for the push. Now he'll recall, he'll pull some of the resources there. Oh, that was great from Domeng, taking the Spirit Destruction, PX7 escaping away from the spatial migration as Royal Milk is tanking a whole lot of damage with the Frigid Glacier. Will lock him down with the AOG. Now, they go back in. Benny is in the midst of it all. Pops in a Purify. Now kiting back as well. Demon Kite walking up and gets shut down. Benny is kiting away on the Bruno. And that's a double kill for him. Domeng making quick work on the turret in the mid lane. Will be able to get away. Now Spear of Misery to disengage.
The sustain was there for Benny, and honestly, the Soul Silver, the damage wasn't enough just yet. He wasn't really able to take out Benny, even though he really went for the chase. So now Falcon Esports, they're also able to look for the turrets for themselves.
Oh!
And that's some insane damage from the Crab Claw Cannon. I think it was also the exact same skill which took out one of the members of Aurora MLBB earlier in that previous clash.
Oh, that was a massive AoE for sure. On top of that, the gold crab as well over towards Dax. What does he have in his item build, man? It's a Lorax and the Brute Force Breastplate. It's not even like pure damage and he's doing that much. The Crab Claw Cannon, man. Something you have to definitely respect. Yeah, get to see the items here as well. Haas-Claw's Berserker's Fury. So already Power Spike building towards the Malefic Gun. Already has the Fury Hammer. So okay, pretty fast for Mr. Benny.
Honestly, I think when they really go for the team fights, a lot of their skills really complement each other well. Like the worldy, the amount of defense that goes down for Aurora MLBB during the team fights, even Royal Milk, whenever he just goes in and looks for the targets and tries to go for some stats. So it might be a question for Aurora MLBB, especially if they're consistently unsuccessful in trying to take those slow pickoffs or those single targets from Falcon Esports for a moment, because we're seeing Falcon Esports really take advantage of the team fight so far. Not unless Aurora MLBB are able to layer their skills really well, because there were moments we've seen like really great layering. The Avatar of the Guardian and the Frigid Glacier, but Falcon Esports, they can just play around so much with their lineup. And now the Lord, who will get the Lord?
Oh, it's Domeng with a Spear of Destruction all the way from top lane. Now Demon Kite running away. Benny getting the kill onto Edward. Renegade going to be stunned up as Domeng takes the tier 2. How did he do that? How did he snipe it from downtown? Falcon though, they got a big win in the team fight. It's a 3-4-0. Only the Lord to Aurora.
It really seems like my macro is the plan for Aurora MLBB. Falcon Esports, they're going for the micro though. It's the complete opposite that we're seeing from their side. But Aurora MLBB, they're fortunate enough to get that Lord using the Spear of Destruction. What a well-timed Spear of Destruction. I mean, I couldn't even recall if they had enough vision or information regarding the Lord at the time, or it was just randomly thrown out there by Domeng. Let's check it out here in the instant replay. I think they had some sort of idea. Edward was close enough to that Lord.
Oh
Domeng
my goodness.
timed it so well.
Both of the junglers went for the prediction, right? They both of them just went in. So Demon Kite tapped it, Dax tapped it. It was a gamble at that point, and Domeng won the gamble. The guy with, I mean, that was what are the odds on that, man? Domeng shot it from so far, and the damage definitely doesn't, compare to the retribution, yet he got it.
Yep.
This man, now with the Lord, it's only the first Lord, so Falcon should still be able to defend this one. Cadex can be taunted up, the combo there as well. They're not going to commit fully onto that. The Holy Defense will be procced as well. And it will be Edward taken low. Great spatial migration onto BX7. The Spear of Destruction to the backline as BX7 goes in with the Crimson Beacon, and Royal Milk baits out the Frigid Glacier. No more fights.
But PX7, he was so careful. He didn't use the Purify at that moment. Not while he knew that he had all of his teammates around him and that the other damage dealers from Aurora MLBB weren't as close. So Renegade, he's been doing a great job in finding these targets, but then Falcon Esports, with this much pressure with their front lines, they're able to actually separate the members of Aurora MLBB really well. Like, they're trying to disrupt so much of their positioning, which I don't even know if Aurora MLBB wants to take on the team fights at this point. They've been working for the macro for the first few minutes, but could it be time that we see them actually engage in a 5v5 team fight? I mean, Domeng is also here, but we're still 40 seconds away from the next Lord, and they seem really careful about the succeeding decisions that they're about to make.
So now it's a battle of scale, right? It's a scaling battle. So if we take a look at the item builds again, the Malefic Gun's done. Falcon Esports have that power spike, and we know the Bruno.
Yep.
Well, it's been pretty good, man, that Bruno. 3 on the power spike though for Domeng too, so should be all right from Domeng. He should actually be the one for Aurora to actually, he's the X Factor at this point, right? He's the main carry. Aurora, they need to utilize Domeng, and Domeng really needs to pop off here in the team fights, but also in the split pushes.
Yeah, he also has the Wind of Nature ready, just in case Falcon Esports finds a way to deal with him. But they're setting up for this upcoming Lord. They know where the members of FCON Esports are coming from, but they're gradually making their way to the Lord pit. Who will be able to get this time?
Spatial migration already used up earlier. Revival as well. SOD did not connect now. BX7 gets the kill in the backline. Kidx is zoning them away. Dax wins the Rectory battle. Benny's going crazy. Doming able to escape. Benny frozen. But that's just Benny. Ice cold on the Bruno.
And Edward wasn't even able to cast his Avatar of the Guardian. Now it's FCON Esports just making their way to Aurora MLBB and their base. They take down the mid lane inhibitor turret. And that's without the Lord. They still have the Lord. It's about to spawn. And Aurora MLBB, they have to defend. What?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Swiss stage of the M6 World Championships. I thought the upsets, they would end sometime. But Dax, FCON Esports, Benny, they want to continue the train. They want to have a 1-0 bracket of full underdogs of the tournament. 4.3k gold lead, enhanced Lord in the mid lane. They're going to go for it with the Glorious Pathway, the Deadly Catch as well. Aurora will have to respect this. Doming is pulling the Lord over to the turret up top. But that will mean the base turret will be taken down below. And Aurora will be able to defend it.
Honestly, I just thought of it now, like the entire Bruno Bane connection, or the Bruno Bane concept of the lineup of FCON Esports here. They're just really so focused on taking the objectives with the right amount of micro, even though Aurora MLBB were consistently making attempts to deal with it with the macro as well. How could you face against the Bruno and the Bane when they gain access to your important turrets, to your objectives, and now they might just take out all of the inhibitors?
Oh, that Crab Claw Cannon, Royal Milk into the stun down, Doming very low, so able to escape the spatial migration, gets him. Turret falling, Benny's still surviving. Royal Milk dead, Edward walking up, Kidx will fall, PX7 with the Lantern Flare. Demon Kite able to escape, does he get picked up, and Dax gets him with a Crab Claw Cannon. PX7 grabs the Sky Piercer stack. FCON Esports, they walk away with another good trade. That was another base turret to their name.
All inhibitors down for Aurora MLBB. At least they were able to slightly surround FCON Esports. It seems like they were really going for the end there. But now they prolong the game a little longer. Checking out the damage dealt ranking, still UL takes the lead. But in terms of impactful, like one-time, big-time damages that are dealt, you have to really respect Dax and the amount of damage he's bringing out to the table right now. But that's all aside the fact that Benny also has completed his items.
Dax is a Chad. He is a Giga Chad. Look, you see that item build, man? I thought War Axe, Brute Force, Tanky build. No,
Tanky build,
he goes War Axe, Brute Force, full damage. He doesn't care, and that's why the Crab Claw Cannon has been going through the front line. Yue, he started off that fight in the defense with a quarter of HP. The Crab Claw Cannon dealt that much. And now FCON are just pressuring them, not letting them breathe. Doming is caught off. Oh, good dodge from Royal Milk there from the SOD, but they won't be able to push forward anyways here. The Lord will be spawning in the bottom lane, and FCON have 3 base turrets down, so they're going to have super minions pushing and shoving towards Aurora at every given moment.
Yep. How will Aurora MLBB deal with all this pressure? Benny and Kidx slowly are about to make their way to the Lord, and definitely Aurora would want to contest this. This doesn't look like an ideal situation if you were Aurora MLBB, if you're left to defend with literally no inhibitor turrets left in your base. But how could they gain access towards the Lord? How will they engage this? There's this pathway of Doming!
Oh! BX7 gets the Sky Piercer! The execute comes down! That might be the way for the end angle. Dex got the Lord earlier. Edward jumps in to peel for Yue, but BX7 gets another. And now it's Royal Milk who wants to push forward. Aurora, 2 members left standing. It's the Smiling Demon and Renegade. FCON Esports don't care. They want to go straight for it. It's another Sky Piercer stack for Renegade. BX7 got the monster kill, and the day of upset continues.
FCON Esports! They were so well prepared for this. They stuck with their identity, but were still able to pull through up against Aurora MLBB. We thought of it to be one of the most challenging matchups we've witnessed today, but they prove us wrong. Time and time again, today we just keep being proved wrong by all of these teams.
throw out your predictions out the window, your expectations. Be damned. Welcome to the M6 World Championship. You gotta be greater than ever, and so far on day one, the opening day of the M6 World Championship, we've already gotten greater than ever. This has already blown all of our expectations out the window, out the roof.
Who would have thought the Swiss stage would be this interesting? That the stakes of each best of one series.
Brigida,
what?
you have to see the 0-1 bracket. You have to see the teams there, man.
I'm
oh
not
my
sure.
lord.
I'm not sure if I'm ready to see our 0-1 bracket just yet, but let's head over to our panel and let them dissect that game.
Well, even though our predictions didn't show it, we were discussing it. Just Falcon Esports, Myanmar teams really have a history of taking it to the Filipino teams, and they get the revenge. One of the first, not one of the first, but one of the more iconic victories of a Myanmar team against a Filipino team in a major tournament. Congratulations to Falcon Esports. That Jushin on PX7, the damage of Falcon was way too much.
Yeah, Jushin, 2 power picks, right? Jushin, actually 3 power picks. Jushin, Bruno, and Hilda.
Yeah.
All went through to Falcon Esports. You know, Jushin with the Sky Piercer as well, really catching Aurora off guard in that late game. They execute damage, really making life for Doming hard. Edward as well getting executed when they needed him the most. And of course, Benny, you give him space. We talk about Benny. I talk about him being able to deliver the Golden experience, and he did just that.
We just dropped into Earth 2024, a whole different multiverse where anything can happen right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking like insanity, and I couldn't say it any better than the casters, because that lower bracket right now, that lower group, is looking scary.
Yeah, the 0-1 column. Again, Falcon Esports, congratulations yet again for their victory against Aurora MLBB. Let's hear from Falcon on the stage with Rose.
The first day of the Swiss round, back to back, jam-packed with surprises. And this is Falcon taking the win against Aurora Philippines. Now, I'm here with Dex. First of all, Dex, how are you?
I'm fine.
You're fine. How does it feel like winning the matchup against Aurora? He's really happy. Now, as we all know, Aurora is actually a fan favorite, right? Did it give you guys extra pressure, or did you feel scared knowing that your first round of the Swiss stage is going up against Aurora?
Aura တင်းကြီးရဲမှာအဲ့လိုမျိုးကောင်းနေတဲ့အတင်းနေတဲ့တတင်းမို့လို့ပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော်တို့နေနဲ့ဟိုပထမပုံပွဲမှာတည်းကစတွေ့ရဆိုတော့ဆော့ရမယ်ဆိုတော့စိတ်လှရှာပါ
It's the so seeing Aurora is one of the really good teams, a man out of all. So to be meeting them for the very first time, they were excited.
Okay, now I agree with that. Aurora is a powerhouse, especially coming from the Philippines. But since you said you're excited meeting up Aurora, how did you guys actually prepare? What preparations did you guys go through?
Screen တပွဲကြီးကျင်းစီတိုင်းကို focus ပြီးတော့ 100% အပြည့် train ခဲ့ Aurora အတွက်ပြင်ဆင်ပြီးတော့
So they really play screening stage and train 100% to meet Aurora team.
Okay, I like that. They're giving respect to Aurora. Now, it's been a while since Myanmar has actually won a match against the Philippines, with the last time being in around M4, if I'm not mistaken. So that is around 2 years. What does it mean getting this win against Aurora, and how does it improve or help you guys with your momentum in the upcoming Swiss stages?
She's a man, I'm way to have the tournament to cool on General Yamago Zavio in a Gongzong net. Gongzong to that of a mail.
So for the moving forward for the games ahead, as a Myanmar team, as a Myanmar representative, we will be playing the best. We will be playing the hardest for moving forward.
All right, now as we can see, Falcon is definitely putting their best and is making sure they're playing greater than ever. Thank you very much, Dax. And with that, let us throw it back to the panel to break down what happened in this game between Falcon and Aurora MLBB.
Again, congratulations to Falcon Esports, and we talked a bit about it earlier. The raw damage that was coming out from Falcon Esports, and the readjustment of the meta. So, for those of you who are unaware, coming from the Philippines, we come from a understanding of the game where it's very macro to micro focus. Control the map, push the towers, 4-1 split, the classic that you get when you're playing with the Moskov and heroes such as that. Falcon Esports said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to play you in the macro. We're not even going to try to out-macro a Filipino team. We will out-fight and out-damage a Filipino team, and that's exactly what they did.
Absolutely. Even with the draft that they got, right? I think Mirko and Brigitte also talked about it. The Bane build, they go a Brute Force Breastplate and everything else is damaged. And one of the perks you get as a Bane is that you don't need to hit the backline directly, right? One Crab Claw cannon to a frontline tank, the Ricochet can easily destroy the backline. Tough for Yue and Domain to even position in these fights.
Yeah, and it's tough because there's this old adage, if there's no assassin, Jushin is happy. Suyo is an assassin, yes, but this Jushin is incredibly well protected. That deadly catch provides a lot of space for the Jushin.
Yeah, I mean, the deadly catch provides space, the Jushin provides space. Everybody's got each other's back on this team right here. Not to mention you have the Hilda and the Hylos, two of the tinkiest, heroes around right now. The ones that can really just hang out in the midst of a fight. But once again, I got to put my eyes on this Bruno, man. Is it finally time to ban it out? At what point? I mean, at this point, it's won every game except for one. Won every single game in Swiss stage so far except for one, and I'm wondering when are we finally going to see it on that ban list?
Yeah, and the time that we saw the Bruno lost, it was up against an old school lineup of just the pure tanky fighters, hard front line. You don't have the best damage in the world, but you have enough to deal with it.
Actually, he lost 2 games, right? One was against the tanky, the classic lineup that BTK brought up, but another one was against a first item Malefic Gun Beatrix.
Oh yeah.
The Beatrix.
Right. The Beatrix too, as well, and which is why I thought the Beatrix pick would be coming in a little bit early, but then you posed the question in the first phase of
do they go for gold or do they go for mid?
And then they went for mid. I asked for reach, but apparently it wasn't the reach. It wasn't enough reach, as well as we look at the emblems now. For Benny went Assassin as well for this Bane, going for the attack speed, of course, as expected, and yeah, nothing too crazy in terms of the emblem builds we have. Although Doming, of course, as expected with the Moskov, going for the 4-1 split more is actually going to be rushing the Master Assassin.
Even when you hit from the mid to late, you start noticing a bit of a struggle for RORA, which was you constantly have Royal Milk and Kid X running at your backline, and you just don't have enough peel to keep them away. Royal Milk keeps like swinging that axe at Domain. You got Kid X just running in with the Glorious Pathway at Yue. They don't have the tools to keep the front line away from their backline.
I mean, speaking of Royal Milk, just so good at kind of stopping RORA from getting any of those backline attack plays, right? And taking a look at the damage, Falcon overall, I mean, for being a 16-minute game, 17-minute game, none of the damage calcs are really off the charts. Nobody even broke into the 100K mark here. Even Benny and Dax only at 59,000, but it just shows that they were able to buy some time, never force any big fights until that moment when those power spikes landed. And then they really just had control at that point.
She didn't deal a lot of damage, but she sure did deal a lot of kills on the side of our MLBB. PX7 and his Jushin with the rush on the Skypiercer second item. That's confidence. That's Falcon's understanding that, yeah, it's going to be tough. We liked the Guinevere pick, but a part of me also disliked it because it is easily punishable by the Jushin.
Yeah, one of the few one-dimensional picks, right? You kind of miss that crowd control. You have to wait for your cooldowns, and we saw that Renegade getting punished. But MVP for this game, the Jushin by PX7, 7, 2, and 8. You reach a point where you just cannot touch him.
Yeah.
But also the Skypiercer was a little risky because in the early game we saw PX7 get picked off by the Gwenny. We saw PX7 not exactly thriving in mid completely, but then once the team got into the groove, once PX7 knew how to space, got comfortable with it, then it was like, okay, now we're getting value off this. This is very much worth it. But it was a risky pick for sure, getting that Skypiercer.
Well, but at the end of the day, I feel like the Jushin eventually became the centerpiece of a strong 4-man or 5 versus 4 team fight. I say that because, again, it is the Moskov on the side of Aurora MLBB. I've been vocal about this in the past. I am not the biggest fan of Moskov in this current metagame. Aurora MLBB definitely played it to its strengths. Domeng got that absolutely killer Lord Steel, but outside of that, they just lack the firepower and the presence in fights to deal with what Falcon Esports drafted.
Yeah, you can even see like in the highlights, right? Not only that PX7 is lifting out key targets and they're getting blasted by decks, but the fact that the Hilda and the Hylos are just massive zoning tools. There's just no way for Aurora MLBB to contest any objectives. And Falcon Esports, they can just keep on going. And it's full team ahead. They don't need to stop.
Yeah, it feels like we've entered a world where ranged, heavy-hitting crit damage is key, and those close-up shredders like Claude, like Moskov, you know, heroes like that just aren't really working anymore because there's no